So I'm going to ask, nah, forget that. I'm going to ask Denny to come and propose a toast for all of this. Let's go.
Let's all rise and raise our glasses. And we'd all just say to Brother Bruce. Thank you.
And now we're going to ask Denise and Bruce to go cut the cake before it explodes.
We'll start this thing.
Yes, go ahead. You blow them out and then.
Go ahead, that's fine.
Just blow them out and that's a part of it.
Ready? Go ahead. We're going to help Grandpa.
1, 2.
Blow him out.
Now we can celebrate the birthday. Go ahead and cut it.
Oh.
Nobody can. Nope. You gotta do this.
Bring it down. That's it. There you go.
All right, well done. Now cake will be served. Okay, let's as is customary with affairs like this, we're going to ask for divine guidance, if you will, that we conduct this whole thing appropriately. So I'm going to ask our cousin Judith, who is a lady of the cloth, let's put it that way, to lead us in prayer and to ask blessings upon the entire events of the evening, the food, the gathering, and the fact that we all made it here safely. So, all the way from Canada and parts unknown, Cousin Judith.
Bobby, thank you very much for asking me to do the prayer. And I would now ask you, family and friends, if you would bow your heads and let us pray. In the name of our beloved God, we give thanks for this special gathering in honor of Bruce, our father, grandfather, brother, uncle, cousin, and friend. We are grateful for the power of your love, which joins us together in celebration. And we give thanks for the food, bounty of your gifts to Mother Earth. And we offer our thanks to the loving hands which have prepared this dinner. And we ask blessings on all those who enter here, and may they feel the power of your love and be at peace. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, a little bit of background, a little bit of history. Behind you or in front of you, depending on where you're sitting, is a table so beautifully researched and decorated. The entire room was done in a manner to reflect, this milestone. And so I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and thank the young ladies whose concept this was, and this is. And we're going to just ask her to stand and we can acknowledge her that she did such a marvelous job of just decorating this room to honor Bruce, Miss Sharon Brown. so very much. A lot of those photographs you see back there, I have no idea how she did it, but somehow she got them. And it brings back so many memories for me, and I'm sure Bruce sitting there thinking, now where did all this come from? And a lot of this stuff you see back there, for example, there's one picture there of beautiful downtown Monique with its vast array of shops and unpaved roads. And she had to remind me that there's a picture there of the old Monique Hotel, which was the midpoint of travelers from Kingston through to Montego Bay. They would stop at this hotel, get refreshed, this is horse and buggy we're talking about, get refreshed and fed and get some rest, and then continue on the journey. And I must give you a little bit of history. Our grandfather was a horse and buggy man. And it's so ironic that several years ago, back in the 70s, I met, I used to drive a cab in downtown DC. And there was this gentleman standing, he waved me through. And when he came in the cab, the most I could shout was, "Sir Hugh Foot!" He was one of the governors in Jamaica at one time. But of course, he went back to England and he became Lord something, Lord Caradon. And the most he could say was, "You remember me?" I said, "Yes, how could I forget you?" And I kind of reminded him that my grandfather possibly could have transported him back and forth. I don't know if he was humoring me or not, but he said, "I remember him." I said, "Well, more power to you." So that was that. But some of these things, such beautiful memories. And on this table over here is a picture of our mother, such a beautiful lady, old Mama, as we used to call her. As a matter of fact, even some of the nieces and nephews in here used to call her Mama. And one of her favorites happens to be here, Claudette. And you'll hear from Claudette later. And there's a picture of Bruce and another lady who I know she's with us in spirit. But I'll have Denise speak more on that as well. And of course, there is Denise and Bruce in the background there. And I'm looking at Kitty and Denise, and it's such an eerie resemblance. You can't, no mistaking that one. So I'm gonna ask Denise. We're gonna get started with you, because I'm sure we're so happy to have you here. And I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna let you say what you want to say. Here we go. Denise, his daughter.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I know we've all traveled from far away, and I've not met most of you, but I appreciate everyone showing for my dad. He's my dad. I don't know what to say. I know my mother would have loved to be here. It's very hard for me to talk about it, but we're very proud of him. He has been our backbone. This is one of my sons and two of my grandsons here. It's a difficult time for me, but we are very, very proud to call Pop my dad, and my children and my grandchildren are very proud of him also. He has been our backbone for 50 years, and I wouldn't know what I would do without him in many aspects of my life. He has guided me through every time in my life, every moment of my life. He's been there for me. And I love him to the bottom of my soul. And he's I don't know what to say. He's the most wonderful man I've ever met in my life. And I adore him. We all do. And thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate it.
Spoken from the heart. There's another young lady here that I know wouldn't miss this for just about anything. Well, none of us would, but this young lady is so special to all of us. I grew up let me tell you this story. There was a beauty contest in Monee, and this lady across the street was touting herself as the best looking woman in Monee and parts beyond. So, unknown to her, my mother contacted this young lady and surprised everybody at that same Money Hotel, which later became Money Teachers College, which is now, I think, a university. And that night, Mom made, I remember, a blue dress, put it on, and she walked in and won the competition hands down. I'm telling you, when you see her, the beauty is still there all these years later. And if you doubt me, I'm going to ask her to come up here now, our cousin, Claudette. There you go. Smile is still here, trust me.
I have to go right up there. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. We're here to honor Bruce. Okay? Everyone here must know how loved Bruce is. He is the leader right now in our generation. He is the one. And to have come to this age is just, and looking like, he was like still, 60 or something. It's just absolutely amazing and speaks to who he is. He is the most revered, most loved, honored. He is just the epitome of calm. His daughter spoke it all, and he's the same that he is to all his cousins. Bruce was the one who met me when I first left home and went to Montreal to go to nursing school. I started out with my Aunt Ida in Toronto. On Vi. You hear? See?
What a memory.
Started out with that Vi. Went off to Montreal on the train. At the train station in Montreal, I'm going to nursing school. Bruce was the one who picked me up. And he was the one who was my parent for my entire time in Montreal. What can I say about someone who we all the cousins just adore? We love you. And I don't know what else to say, but be with us for another 5-10 years, however you want, because you will be right up there. Okay? That's my cousin Bruce. May we all just cheers.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I gotta watch this. I have to watch this thing. I was trying to find a longer cable, but time wouldn't allow me. Another story. I keep popping these stories in back and forth. Bruce graduated from Mico College in Kingston, Jamaica, back in the 50s. And in the early 60s, I graduated from high school. And my father one morning just came to me and said, we're going to Kingston. Of course, you never questioned your father. He just spoke and you followed. So I went to Kingston, had no concept or clue of what my life was going to be. I didn't care about that. I got my license to drink, and I was enjoying all the pleasures that accrued therefrom, if you get my meaning. And he just said to me, we're going to Kingston. As a matter of fact, just to step out a little bit, I came home from high school, and the next morning he said, we're going to Lime Hall. Get to Lime Hall. No, I'm sorry, let's start. We're going to St. Anne's Bay. Get to St. Anne's Bay, walk up a flight of steps, and I'm in a job at the parish council. That didn't pan out too well. One morning he said, we're going to Lime Hall. Get to Lime Hall. It's my old primary school teacher who is now in charge of that school, and I'm teaching. Have no idea what I'm doing, but I must have done something, because this morning he said, we're going to Kingston. I get to Kingston, and he goes to Michael, goes in the principal's office and said, this is my son. I want him to come to college. Come to find out, the principal of the college, I think, graduated the year before Bruce, so he knew Bruce well. Said, Bruce graduated from here? He says, oh yes, I remember him. And I remember one of his words was, I'm not making any promises. And my father just said, huh, that was it. A few weeks later, I got a letter, I'm admitted to Michael. Normally back then, you would have to do an entrance exam and all of this stuff. And I'm in Michael. I'm going to teach. Okay, big deal. I'm going to teach. So that was it. I spent 2 years at Michael. As a matter of fact, I guess because of my background from high school, they started this new idea where instead of doing 3 years, a bunch of us would do 2. I graduated and started teaching. That was it. There was never any question as to what I was going to do. Bruce and I reminiscing a few months ago, come to find out just about the same escapades that he went through in Michael. I'm following him, having no idea all the crazy stuff that went on that he went through as a young man. I'm right behind him, like step for step. I'm saying, this is crazy. I had no idea. But, we graduated. I taught school, and here I am, wishing I hadn't, but, thank goodness. So you can see the effect he has had on my life, and I got to admit, very positively. Let's see, who else is here? Gertrude. Where's Gertrude? There she is. That's our cousin from, I know this one, Creemore. Now, I went to a wedding in someplace outside of Toronto one day, and I said, okay, I can ride to, go visit her in Creemore. A friend of mine, the guy, my brother-in-law was staying at his house. He said, man, that's going to take you about half a day to get from where he is over to Creemore. I said, it's okay, we can talk by phone. However, Gertrude, for some reason I think you have something to say. I don't know why, I just have that feeling. So, I hope my feelings are correct. Ladies and gentlemen, our cousin, Judith's sister. Why am I saying Judith? Dawn's sister. From Creemore. Dear sweet Judith. Sweet Gertrude.
I can come up with something.
There you go.
So, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Bruce, for having this wonderful event, and family and friends here. Actually, Judith, you remember this. We were quite young and still were looking forward to seeing Santa Claus, at Christmas time. Does that ring any bells with you? That's it. Anyways, I remember we were very excited about the possibility of staying up and seeing Santa Claus. And I remember we were sort of upstairs hiding in our room, and we hear this tremendous laugh. And we thought, oh, it's Santa! It's Santa Claus! It was actually Bruce. But he had this big, big laugh. And we thought, oh my gosh, it really is Santa Claus. But I remember Bruce being at our house on College Street so often. He was so much a part of the family there. And it was nice to have that extended family because most of our cousins were in New York and Florida and California, and so we didn't get to see a lot of them until we were older. So it was just nice having Bruce there just because he represented that extended family that we didn't often get a chance to see. And that was really important to us being, we felt kind of isolated up in Toronto. So for that reason, I think that it made us Bruce was an important part of us feeling like family. So for that, I do thank you.
I keep throwing these stories in. When Bruce came home from Toronto, at one point he was the personnel officer for the bauxite company right there in Yorkton. And Bruce lived at Pleasant Farm out there in Yorkton, and we used to go, spend a little time with him back and forth, just about 10 miles from Moneague where we were. And Bruce came home, brought him a whole pile of records. And my joy was to sit there with my older brother, Glenn, and have Bruce introduce us to jazz. And from that day, I was hooked. Bruce had all of these records, and he said, "Man, play music." And he had I forget the name of the stereo set. Pioneer set out there. The old memory hasn't gone yet. It was sitting right there, not far from the sliding glass doors, and we would sit there, pop the glass doors, and play jazz. Man, that was just tremendous. And he was also in charge of the keys, I think, for the country club or something back there. And he had this big old Humber Scepter, big car, automatic car. I haven't driven, never, just backed the car up, took it forward and backward. And somebody wanted something in there. He gave me the keys. He said, "Take him over there." And I'm in this big old car driving this thing. My fear is I'm going to run it off the road. I drove that thing back, came back, says, I'm a driver. Right. At about 13, 14, somewhere in there. But he trusted me to take his big, expensive car back and forth. But, that's how it was. And so old Uncle Bruce was just a tremendous guy. Bowled with one hand in cricket and bat on the other side. That was just a joy for me to watch. And so those are some of my memories of Bruce from the early days. The old Renault Dauphine and the Buick Skylark. And those cars back then. Okay. I don't know if there's anybody else. I'm sure there has to be somebody. I don't know who speaks well or doesn't. But Rob's back there. We have a cousin, a dear cousin, another cousin. Of course, who else? So Rob's got to say something. Because if his mom was here, trust me, she would be saying a lot of things. So you're it.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. How are you? My name is Robert Tichy. I'm the son of Yvonne and Bob Tichy. And some people, I walked in and I noticed right away. Let's see. That's Glenn, right? Right. So that's Glenn. Glenn came to my I believe he came to my graduation party, 1984. Is that right? And was Bobby there also?
No, I couldn't make it.
Okay. 1984. So 1984, I remember that. Now, were you living in New York at that time? Okay, all right. And I think there's some cousins there from Canada that I have not met personally, but we took a look at the book that you produced for the Topping Family Reunion. Didn't you produce that book? And I'll talk to you about it later on. Thank you so much for doing that because it meant a lot to my mother and the rest of the family. And Bruce I just met for the first time. Or have you ever met me before, Bruce? Even when I was a baby?
Were you alive when you were living in Floral
In
Park?
Floral Park. I was talking to my mother about that last night, and I wasn't sure if so. So I'll be sure to come around and meet everybody before we leave. My mother regrets she couldn't come today, but she wasn't able to make it. And it's a pleasure to be here with the family. And by the way, the one thing I would like to ask is, in the room, how many people who are here live in the Maryland, D.C., or Virginia area? I'm just curious. Okay. And myself, I live in Arlington, Virginia. That's where I live. I'm in Arlington, Virginia, yes. That's where I live.
What?
And let me see, what stories do I have? Well, unfortunately, I don't have any stories about Bruce, but I do have stories that my mother and grandmother used to tell me about Maneague, because my mother grew up in Maneague. Yes, she did. And she left there when she was about 12, I think. And I haven't been back, but my younger brother Roderick was back. What was that, Claudette? About 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, he went back and he stayed with Claudette in June. Were you in Maneague or? Okay, nearby. So my brother has gone back and made the pilgrimage back and spent time with family there. And I think he went to see the old homestead, right? Yeah. Right. Wow. How about that? Okay, so we have family that has gone back. I think my other younger brother has been back also. My mother hasn't been back since she left. I haven't been, but two of the family have made the pilgrimage back, which is great. And I think I don't have much else to say. But thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to meet everyone who I haven't met before I go. Any questions?
That's great, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We stir memories up, and they keep coming back. So if you have a memory, come on up.
I just want I stand here with all my adoration for Bruce. I neglected to tell everyone that in addition to everything else, Bruce is the godfather for my daughter. One of the most important things I neglected to mention.
Karen?
Karen, I'm going to give you a minute to collect your thoughts. But there's another cousin of ours that I would imagine grew up, started out, I guess, in New York, from New York to Toronto. And this time I'm not talking about Creemore or wherever else. I'm talking actual Toronto. I guess he is in San Francisco now. So he has cut a wide swath between one coast, one northern neighbor, and another coast. And so I think he's about ready. I'm reading minds as I go along here. So, Royston, yeah, he's about, Royston, I guess he likes to cut things short because whenever he does anything now, it's Roy. And I'm trying my best to remember people from back then. For example, our cousin Donald, I go to Jamaica and I say, does anybody, I'm talking about Donald, and I said, Donald who? And I say, Don. Oh, I know Don. No, you don't. I don't know Don, I know Donald. Actually, there are two Donalds. We're going to work on that one. But, Royston, I think you've heard a bunch of stuff. You know how this flows. So it's your turn. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Steele. None shall escape.
Hello, everyone. Glad you came to honor Bruce. Where is Bruce? Bruce. My story about Bruce is I'm from New York, born and raised, and everybody came through our house. Even Rob there, his dad came through our house. And my mother welcomed in Bruce, and Bruce had a Buick. and Bruce taught me how to drive. That's my story. I remember him for that, and I give him credit for that. And it's a pleasure to come and see him. I stopped by when he was living in upstate New York. I went up that way and down back into Pennsylvania to see some friends of mine, and it was a pleasure to see him then. I hadn't seen him since I was 17 years old. And now I'm in my 60s. I'm not going to go any further than that. But I have a great set of relatives, everyone in this room. It's wonderful being part of this family. We're loving, caring, giving. And it's great to be here and attend a party like this, or a get-together, a family gathering. And all the time I meet so many young people, and I'm like, who's that? Who's this? But it's good to meet everybody, and it's good to make the trip out here and to see everyone. Thank you.
You know, in our family, as Roy mentioned, there are certain addresses that will forever stick in our mind. You had 680 Macon Street. That's him.
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York, of course. Then you had 1072 College Street, Toronto, Canada.
Oh, there goes my password.
Then you had 744 Dufferin Street, Toronto, Canada. I was hoping to make 14616 Sandy Ridge Road, Silver Spring, Maryland, another one of those addresses that you don't forget, but sadly we sold it. But you know, that's how this family operates. Then you had Powell Street. Ah, crap, the number escapes me. Aunt Muriel's number in Brooklyn. The high rise before that, she was in Philadelphia.
Powell Street.
Powell Street.
Yeah, Powell Street.
Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy.
There you go. So we have these famous addresses, but I have to tell you, 680 Macon Street was something else in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Everybody from the family who came to New York, that's where you stayed. Bruce stayed there. Faye stayed there, our cousin who did nursing. Those of you who are familiar with Donald, Don T, he came there. As a matter of fact, he used to use Bruce's equipment and I have to let you know, Donald was supposed to be doing what I'm doing, but the Don couldn't make it. It's kind of good news, bad news thing. 2 weeks ago, he got this invitation to jazz at the White House. Now he's not going to pass that up. Yes, if you know Donald wakes up with jazz, goes to sleep with jazz, and I guess it's all because of Bruce. He just lives and breathes jazz. So he got this invitation to this Jazz at the White House 2016. If you look it up on YouTube and all the panning through the audience, you might see him and Brenda in it, doing all of this crazy stuff. So that was something special. And he couldn't pass that up. So unfortunately, it's hard to make the trip twice from Orlando, Florida. So hopefully we can get Don a copy of this because it's being recorded. And let him know that Don, you and Brenda, we miss you. And I know you send your good wishes to Bruce. You have said it personally already. So next round, when he's 92, we'll do it all over again and everybody will be here. So right now, Karen, I'm sure you got everything. You got to say something about your godfather. You have to. I'm telling you. So you can put your shoes on. It's your turn, Miss Karen. It's just, that's how we do with family. And you get some of these memories. I would never have gotten them if it wasn't for an occasion like this. So Karen, light it up. I don't mean a cigarette. There you go.
Okay, not good at the public speaking thing.
Of course you are. You want to talk on it?
That's different. Okay, so I am, well, Bruce is my godfather, as my mother was just so anxious to have to mention, which then put me in the spotlight of this one.
That's what I do.
My parents saw fit to have each of their children have 4 godparents. Fortunate for me, Bruce was one of mine, 2 male godparents. Last time I saw Bruce, from what we were figuring out, I was in junior high school. So it was quite some time ago. But what cracked me up though was when I walked up to him here, he recognized me. Yet he totally did not recognize. So I was just floored by that. I guess my face really hasn't changed much through the years, but my hair sure has. I just remember Bruce as being very calm and very mellow. I mean, his energy was very, for me anyway, just seemed very low. I mean, was I a hyper kid, Mom? I know, it felt like I might have been a hyper on the inside. I just didn't show it on the outside. Was that you too, Bruce? Because you were very calm to me. But I'm very happy to be able to be here. Mom wanted this to be a surprise. She almost blew it earlier because Bruce kept asking, is Karen coming? Is Karen coming? And I almost wasn't able to make it, but I'm a flight attendant, and I was supposed to be flying over this weekend, but I was fortunately able to get rid of the trip to be here. So I'm very happy to be here to celebrate the 90+1 with Bruce. And you know, so you have to hang out for at least 9 more, because you have to hit the big 100, right? So just very happy to be here, happy to see faces I haven't seen in a very long time, and introduce myself to the people that I don't know and the ones that I probably should know, but my memory's really got nothing on this one here. I mean, I'm just floored, and I can't remember half the things. It's just, this family is just so huge. Gertrude, you're gonna work on that little chart thing, right, so we can figure out who's who. Anyways, very happy to be here, and that's it. Love you, Bruce.
I'm trying to figure out who else to surprise, but there's a young lady just smiling at me back there. She's in trouble now. You know, just about all the families, you got cousins with the same name. I know a family that helped Bruce quite a bit when he was down in Tampa. And just about everybody in the family is named Jeffrey. So when you say, hey Jeffrey, about 10 people stand up. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But Donald couldn't make it. Donald King couldn't make it. Okay, he's somewhere north of Saskatchewan or Antarctica somewhere. Camping, sailing, boating, dog sledding, who knows? Sleeping with the wolves. So I'm sure he sends his wishes. But the light of his life is here. And so Penny, you're up. This is our cousin Penny. And thankfully Penny is with us right here in Maryland. See, we stole one from north of the border, and we're not sending her back. Okay, so Penny, it's your turn.
So, unlike everybody else, I wish I had a great story to tell everybody, but I don't. The best I can do is remember when I was with a majority of you for Denny's party that was held a while back. I believe he turned 60? Yep. the weather wasn't all that great, and I remember my dad driving down saying, "Oh, I hope the weather's getting better, I hope the weather's getting better." And he got there, and we had snow showers. So my response to him was, "Next time you come, could you please bring the sun with you and warmth?" Needless to say, I am sure my dad is doing something. I'm not quite sure what this weekend, but if the weather is half as nice up there as it has not been down here, he's probably camping. That's his new favorite thing to do the last time I saw him. And I'm sure he wishes he was here to wish you a wonderful 90th birthday and many more, 91st birthday and many, many more.
All right, I'm not going to keep you much longer. There's a lot of food to consume, but I think there's one more one person I'm going to call on. And if anybody else wants to be brave enough to snatch this out of my hand, you're welcome to do it. But there you go. My older brother is, and I say this with love, is a lot closer to Bruce than a whole lot of us. And it would be remiss of me. Is that the right word? Yeah, remiss of me. Crap, I was a teacher, I ought to know better. If I didn't have him come say something, because they used to actually work together for a minute and work together on a variety of issues. So let me get Brother Glenn, if I can get him out of that chair, let him waddle up here and come say something.
There's so many memories. And I really can't take all the stories out of school. That would not be good. But I remember Bruce was in England in the Royal Air Force. And it was probably just about the time I was born. And so we're always looking forward to Brother Bruce coming home. And he finally came home for a minute, and then he left. But he was always coming backwards and forwards, because he did his college thing. When he did his college thing, then he ran off to Canada, and he ran off again to the United States. But through it all, we always had a little connection. And the funny thing is that being the older one, he was Brother Bruce. And I was Baby Glenn, and there was Baby Bobby, and there's Baby Denny. And that was how we grew up. Baby this, baby that, but he was the big brother. You know, it's kind of good. It's kind of really good. And last year when I turned 70, I looked at the clock and I said, "Damn, Bruce, are you welcoming me into the gang of old farts? Because that's what we are now." And what a pleasure, Bruce. It's always been there. Love you.
Let me just have two quick thoughts, then I will introduce the man of the hour. When my sister was born, she's the last one. Only one sister we got, but she is not into public speaking, or as Sparrow used to say, speaking extemporaneously. So I'll just say this. Back in the day, we had a cartoon strip, Blondie and Dagwood, and their neighbor was Tootsie. And for some reason, Bruce came home when she was born and called her Tootsie. And it stuck. That's how it began. Back then, you see, now you learn something. Crap, I'm teaching again, yay! But that's how it began with Tootsie and Bruce. And now I forgot the other one. That tells you that he's much better at it than I am. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to hold you any longer. Food's getting warm. I'm getting hungry. I'm thirsty. And there's a lot to consume. And there's a lot to consume and eat. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me just, if you all just rise for me, and let me introduce the man of the hour. Put your hands together and welcome Mr. 91. And let me say this, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Horace Bruce Clayton Lovin.
Ginger ale for chaser.
You gonna say anything?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Do you have time?
That much time?
Well, but me are excited.
You have all the time in the world, man. It's your turn.
Oh, good. Man, I'm so overwhelmed. I really, really, honest to God, I never knew that I touched so many lives. I just did my thing as I saw fit, because my basic philosophy was love. And I love every last one of you. Some more than the others, but I love you. And when I hear these stories, you know, as I said to Bobby, if you had time, the stories I could tell. Yeah. When I think of the Canadian contingent, as I call them, and the times we had, and the little things that happened. I remember once, Gertrude Ann was first to me or something, and I smacked her in the ass, and her father nearly killed me. He said, "You touched my daughter?" And then there was a time when Judith came in and said, "I've lost all my marbles." I said, "Oh, you're telling me?" And then there is, let me see, yes, oh, Claudette. I saved her life, although I don't think she remembered. She was in the top, about the size of maybe Cameron. And she choked. And her mother's panicking and going, and then I just grabbed the little chain, turned her upside down and smacked her in the back. And she looked up and she had one little good smile. Oh, gee, I can't forget all those days. And then there's a time when I popped in up on them in San Jose, and Claudia picked me up to the airport. All the kids were asleep. And the following morning, they came in, and there were the big eyes, bug eyes. Mama's a man sleeping in the house. And they were completely messed up. Said, Mom brought her boyfriend to sleep in the house. Oh, gee. Wonderful, wonderful memories. And of course, there's Royston. He was a devil. I didn't know he would turn out to be, but of course the topping blood tells, always tells. He has to become somebody. Because every topping, everybody who has a topping genes has done something to better mankind, one way or the other. And of course, our friends, our dear, dear friends. I'm thinking of Jean, Michelle, two of my close friends. I'm thinking of Clive, another close friend. And I must tell you, I have two words popping in my head all the time. One is prodigal, and the other is the patriarch. Now, the prodigal was supposed to have rose with his father and leave home, and went out and lived riotously, and spent. Now, I didn't spend riotously, but I definitely spent generously, because nobody ever asked me or wanted for anything that I would never give to them. And, well, I shouldn't say nobody. Nobody who I loved, I should say. And so I left home, but I don't know if it was because we had a row. But I will tell you because I have my friends and family, so I can tell you the real reason why I didn't stay close to home for a long time. When I left my first wife, for some strange reason, my family, I don't know, I felt that they wouldn't acknowledge my second wife because they kept introduced, what I call it, my first wife, what's her name again, Ruby. Yeah, she was always welcome at family gatherings and stuff like that. And I couldn't take my other wife there because things weren't very good when we separated. And she really made life hell for my second wife and my new family. And so I didn't like her very much at all. And anybody who had her in their homes, I didn't like them too much either. And so as a result, I was away from the family for maybe 40 years. Not all of the family, I still kept in touch with my brother, especially Glenn. And so that's why I call myself the prodigals, because I returned to the bosom of my family and you have killed a fatted calf. Now the other one, the patriarch thing. I understand that's a religious connotation, patriarch. Right, Judy? Right, Judy? Patriarch has a religious connotation. But it also means an elder, and it means the eldest member, or the eldest male member of the tribe or the family, who is there to give wisdom, counsel, help, love, and friendship. And so I consider myself a patriarch in that respect. I could go on and on. I'm just touching on the things that mean something to me and to us. And by the way, 91 is only a number. The only thing about it is that I heard that the family and friends who have gone before me are asking, did he make it? Because I'm waiting so long to get there. I wanted to know if I did make it. So, oh yeah, I'm still here. I'll be there sooner or later. And the only other thing I can say, I don't want to keep you any longer, is that I hope to see you in 9 years. Thanks.
I'm telling you, based on how he looks, I guarantee he's gonna make it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'm not gonna extend the tension. You're all free now not to say anything, not to use this mic. So now, so apparently now there is all kinds of food, and our chef is wandering around making sure her food is okay. It's all getting warmed over and everything. So thank you so very much for all your patience, for listening to us, tell you, describe our feelings towards our dear beloved Bruce. And so he's coming back. Hang on a second, folks. He's not done yet. It's your evening, man. Do whatever you want to.
I would be remiss, as my brother said, if I didn't thank the people who are responsible for this party. And I especially want to thank my sister-in-law, the brown girl. Look about sweetheart. Take a bow, darling. she's responsible for all the beautiful things. And she's great. She's great. And I really want to thank my Canadian contingent for taking this long journey down here just for me. I'm really thankful. And, okay.
Gary.
No,
You're
no,
good.
no.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I'm trying to give somebody directions.
Oh.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, I have to thank them for coming all this journey. I have to thank Claudette, Karen, and what's his name again, Roy? Royston, for coming all the way across country. And I have to thank all my friends and my other cousins for coming to spend this afternoon with me for my celebration. And I really didn't say anything about my daughter and my grandchildren. They also took a long ride from New York, and they would, I guess I would not have been happy if they hadn't been here. So that's what I wanted to do, to make sure I thank everybody for coming to celebrate with me. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. At the end of the day, you're going to get something special. I'm going to see if I can play it on my thing here. But any of you who are old enough remembers a singer named Billy Eckstine. If you ever hear Billy Eckstine and you hear Bruce, you think they're one and the same. So, okay, thank you so much. There is food. There is all the other good stuff. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Thank you.